But in democracy, it doesn't matter. The fast talker, the sweet talker who promises us anything, he can become a leader. Islam says a Muslim la yakdib. The Muslim should not lie. But here we all understand that politicians, to win, they would lie and they would do promises that they don't plan to keep and they know they can never keep. And if they don't do these promises, they don't win. So subhanallah, there is a difference. Islam teaches us the basics. And when we say Islam is the answer, it is each and one of us practicing Islam, not forcing it on somebody else like we see that people think, I will tell somebody else how to live his life, or I will tell somebody else how to dress, or. It is you that's doing it. And if we look at Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam before he became a messenger and he was a merchant, people liked him because he was honest. He didn't cheat them. He was honest. So people will come and his business thrived because people knew he was honest. SubhanAllah. This is a message to all of us. Don't worry about everybody else. Be honest yourself. Do a good job yourself. Whatever the job is, do your job honestly, and inshallah, Allah will reward us all. Our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, all the children of Adam commit mistakes, and the best of those who commit mistakes is those who ask for forgiveness. So let's pray to Allah and ask for His forgiveness. Alhamdulillah, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. An important point somebody mentioned to me, and when I was young I thought, what's this person saying? He doesn't know what he's talking about. But as I get older and reflect, I realize more and more that this person was right. He explained to me that there is two rules in life, two ways of life, two rules. One is the rule for the non-believers, which is al-asbab. And one is the rules for the believers, which is al-Islam. A non-believer, he does work hard, he gets more. And he believes in himself, he believes it's his hard work that gave it to him. As for us, the believers, we have what we call the way of Islam. So Islam tells us, كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله. How many times a small group would defeat a big group with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we see it. We've seen it in every battle in Islam. And last week we mentioned in the battle of Hunayn, when the Muslims was a large army and thought we will never be defeated because of our numbers, at the beginning they were defeated and they start running away. Why? Because there is a different rule. The rule for Islam is to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guidance. SubhanAllah, and when we think and reflect, you will find there's two rules. And when you think about us as Muslims, when we try to follow their way, it will not work for us, SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah, you look at Muslims and you find them smart and striving and successful. And yet, because we do not follow Islam or we don't follow the true Islam, as a community we're not succeeding. And I have a lot of discussions with friends. And we have to start wondering what's wrong with us. Each one of us individually, alhamdulillah, is successful. Alhamdulillah, very successful. And yet, as a community, we're going down quickly, subhanAllah. And I think most of us has agreed there is something in our head, something different in our head than other people. Besides of being successful, something different that makes us different. And there's something different. You find that we may be too many smart people together trying to solve a problem, so we don't accept a leader. I always say, if you put 10 Muslims together and ask who's going to be the leader, 8 of them will say, I should be the leader. And the other 2, in their heart, they believe they should be the leaders, but they're embarrassed to say because they know maybe they don't have what it takes. But in their heart, they think they should be the leaders. And when you talk to people in the West, again, 10 people, 2 or 3 might tell you, I want to be the leader. And the rest says, it's a headache, what for, I'm happy the way I am. So something in our mind that says that each one of us thinks he should be the leader and he's better than somebody else. And honestly, we truly believe, each one of us believes in his heart, he is better than anybody else. And that's why most of us don't obey the rules and laws. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. He knows those who created, and He is Latif, Khabir, He is all-known, subhanAllah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how we are, And that's why our only answer is Islam. Islam says, in spite of you being smart, but respect other people. Don't be arrogant, be humble, be kind, be nice. So you look at this group of people that each one of them thinks of himself better than everybody else, and Islam comes and puts him in the right place. Be humble, be nice. And without this humbleness and kindness and nice, we cannot work together. And that's why Islam is our only answer. Because Islam solves this issue in our head, because we listen. How many good speeches we listen? We go to conferences and listen great speeches, and we say the speaker said a great thing, and yet it doesn't change us. Why? Because each one of us think he's right, and all the rest don't know. And I see it every day. Each one thinks I know the right way, and if everybody else follow me, we will be successful. And each one of us is going in his own direction. So the answer is we go back to Islam. A lot of speakers say the answer is unity. And as I said before, there is no unity in Islam. The ayah of the Quran says, اعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا. Hold on to the religion of Allah. Each one hold on. And if each one of us follows Islam, then we will be kind to each other and love each other and help each other and we'll be successful. But we cannot just say unity because we've seen the unity before and it didn't work. We were trying to unite under the Arab unity or the nationalism or this kind of nationalism or this kind, and it didn't work. And it took us down. So Islam is each one of us practicing that Islam in himself. How my brother besides me put his hand while he's praying, it's up to him. And if I feel that I want to advise him, I advise him nicely, and that's about it. That's how far we go, rather than what we see. And I have a brother who came to me, said once, should we pray behind this brother because the way he does wudu, I'm not happy with. And I told him, brother, think, you're not happy the way he does wudu. Somebody else is not happy with how you do sujood. Somebody else is not happy with how you dress. And then we will never follow each other. Because each one of us has his own idea. And that's why Rasul says, pray behind anybody, subhanallah. Because the prayer, Allah inshallah will accept our prayers. But each one of us, if we start becoming choosy, which that's how we run our life today, I know better, then we are divided. So if we go back to Sunnatullah, Allah has His own way of things in life. And for us believers, this is how it is. Allah has given us, the believers, Islam, and showed us that those who followed Islam succeeded. When we try to follow anything else, we cannot succeed, subhanAllah. It's just the way we are. Something, as I said, in our head that makes us the way they are. And the only thing that recovers this thing that each one of us knows, each one of us has so much pride and so much thinking about himself, the only thing is Islam that will control this. And if we look at the leadership, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he used to go out for battle, they tell us he used to leave a poor man as the leader in Al-Madinah. If we try to analyze why would the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam put a poor man, not one of the big Sahabas or great Sahabas, as running the Medina? If somebody did this, as a leader did this today, we will say he's afraid to put a strong man because the strong man will do a coup and take the power away from him. That's our explanation today. But was the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam afraid to put a strong man to take Al-Madinah over? SubhanAllah. So the answer is, since all the people follow Islam, it doesn't matter who's leading. Because we all follow the rules of Islam. And we all respect each other. The leader is just a facilitator to listen to opinions and facilitate. Not like what we do is let me lead, and once I lead I became a dictator. SubhanAllah, that's what happens. We think a leader is the decision maker and all knower and all, he has to make all decisions. But a leader really is a responsibility and a facilitator. And that's why Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam left just one of the poor people on Al-Madinah. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, خَيْرُكُمْ فِي الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ خَيْرُكُمْ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ. The best of you in the Jahiliyyah times before Islam are the best of you in Islam. And what this says is those who are worried and afraid about their positions, what if the Muslims, it becomes a Muslim society? If they are good, they will be the best in Islam. And we look, Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman. Uthman was one of the rich people in Al-Jahiliyyah, and he was rich in Islam and he became the Muslim leader. Abdul Rahman ibn Auf was one of the richest people in Jahiliyyah, and he still became the richest people, one of the richest people in Islam. that when he went for a hijrah, he left all his money back in Mecca. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam made him a brother with one of the Ansar, and the man said, I'll give you my money, and then he said, no, just show me where the market is. And he went and bought and sold and built another wealth again. Subhanallah. خيركم في الجاهلية خيركم في الإسلام. So we don't have to worry. If it's a true Muslim and we have what it takes, if we were successful before, we'll be more successful under Islam. So inshallah there is nothing to worry about. And then we have to realize in a Muslim society, what is the punishment for somebody who does not pray? SubhanAllah. You will not find there is something in Islam that tells us if somebody does not pray, what is the punishment? The same issue that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَى, those who eat a riba. SubhanAllah. So if you know that somebody is dealing in a riba, what's the punishment? There is no specific punishment in Islam for this. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left them that we deal with them on our time and on our individual. So we cannot force on people what they do. Subhanallah. And if we look at the discussion, Imam Ahmad ibn Malik and Imam Shafi'i, and we know that Ahmad ibn Hanbal was a student of Imam Shafi'i, so Imam Shafi'i told him, Ahmad, I heard you say that he who leaves the prayer is a kafir. He said, yes, because the prayer is an important part of Islam. He said, so how does he come back to Islam? He told him, he says, La ilaha illallah. He said, but he never stopped saying La ilaha illallah. SubhanAllah. It's a discussion between two great scholars. And who's right and who's wrong, whatever we believe in. But it just shows that even our great scholars that we follow disagreed on some of the points. But that doesn't change what Islam is. Islam is how we treat each other, and this is what the Muslim society, that's when we say Islam is the answer, is how we deal with each other. How we are honest at work, how we don't lie. And that's when the community, we build the community from bottom up. A lot of us think that Islam has to come from top down, somebody has to force it on us, and it doesn't work. And as I was discussing with a brother, to give us an example, it doesn't work. When the Muslims went into the Roman Empire, and Herakl, the emperor of Rome, listened to the Muslims, he admired and he realized that Muhammad is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he wanted to follow Islam. But the people around him revolted and said, no, that's wrong. So he went back and he said, no, Christianity is the right thing. And this is those who say that Islam has to come from bottom up, use this as to show that the leader wanted to become a Muslim, but if the majority did not, it will not make any difference. It has to start bottom up. It has to, same as Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not come and put rules of how the society for 13 years, he started putting the spirit of Islam in people. And after people learned the spirit of Islam, did all the other things come. And that's the same thing for us when we say Islam is the answer. It is the spirit of Islam that has to start in each one of us, and then we worry because everything else will come in place, rather than somebody coming and say, as of tomorrow, we'll cut this person's hand, and we'll do this person, and then. And the question is, even though this is Sharia, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do we know of any judges today that we can trust to go in front? A lot of the judges are corrupt, or even if they're not corrupt, they have lived to follow whatever the government tells them. That's how he's known for the last 20 years. How could I overnight tell him, now you are free-minded, and go and cut somebody's hand? It's taught with time, it is taught with things. So we have to realize. And one last thing, I was discussing with a senior judge who has a lot of experience, and told him, you are a good Muslim, why don't you ask that we follow the Sharia in Islam? And he said, well, for us, we follow the French civic law. Most of our laws in Egypt are French civic law. And he said he's also studied Islam, and of course he's an expert in law, and he says if you notice and you analyze, 80% of the French civic law is coming from Islam. Because when the French came to Egypt and they studied Islam, they realized that the spirit of these laws, 80% of them are coming from Islam. So he says we don't have to change much to follow Islam. SubhanAllah, this is a learned judge who knows Islam and wrote books about Islam, and he knows the laws. SubhanAllah, the laws, a lot of the laws, and we see that here in the West, it is from Islam. And the laws that change now, because they're following man's whim, we find that's the stuff we disagree, all these things. But the basic laws, subhanAllah, most of them came from Islam. And that's why we say Islam is the answer, but it's not by forcing it on anybody, it's by each one of us living it. And then we will have a community, and then people would look and say, it's a privilege to become a Muslim, and I want to be part of it. Allahumma